What's going on, guys? This is OC here, and I'm here to bring you another video today. This time it's going to be a little bit of a rant video. I've actually held off on this video for a while now, but now the final straw has been broke and I'm going to have to do this. So as many of you know, I do work at Walmart as an electronics associate, a part-time electronics associate, mind you, and just from the very beginning things really weren't going off on the right foot, and I'm going to give you guys a couple of stories. So the first thing I landed was the interview process, which they called me and said that I passed like the call-in phase, and my resume, everything checked out alright, which I didn't have a resume except for working at Cracker Barrel prior, but they said everything checked out, my application looked great, and they invited me in. So, went in for the interview. Interview lasted at about 30 minutes or so. They put me on as a temp, of course, because it was, I believe it was October when I got the job, and Black Friday was closely approaching. Layaway season was currently in full swing, and they needed more people in electronics due to the fact that some of them were back in layaway working. So their first screw up was when I was doing CBLs. Of course, when you're at Walmart, you have to take CBLs, which usually take up to 3 weeks to do. If it takes you 3 weeks, so it's kind of bad. It usually took me about a week and a half, up to 2 weeks. But CBLs stand for computer-based learning. No hands-on learning, of course, which I hate at first. What happened was I was thrown out to the floor early. Now the rule is that you have to complete your CBLs before you go out to the floor. Well, evidently the managers gave it an okay just to throw me out onto the floor without any proper training and just start out working, which is a big no-no in my opinion. But of course managers do what managers want to do, so they just threw me out there. So my first time out on the floor, I was easily intimidated by the customers and somewhat intimidated by the employees and the managers that were working there, because I wasn't fully trained, and the employees and the customers were wondering why that was. Why am I out here without any proper training? Why am I out here doing my job, or not doing my job properly, is what I was trying to say. Why am I not doing my job properly? Why are you just sucking at your job? So when the store manager came in the next day and asked the other managers why I was out there, of course the managers tried to protect their own ass, blame me and other electronic associates because they were not performing their job correctly, which somehow fell on me as a new associate. So that's the first story, and after that part, about a month and a half or 2 months, it was going pretty smoothly, and then the next part happened. This next part comes about 3 to 4 months after I was hired. This is about maybe mid-March, maybe early April, somewhere in there. 40-hour work weeks for a part-time worker. So as many of you know, part-time employees aren't supposed to get over 40 hours, let alone over 35 in some states. And in here in North Carolina, I believe it is 32 hours by state law that you cannot go over 32 hours. So the managers there at the job decided it was a great idea to give everybody 40-hour work weeks that were part-time workers and give the full-time employees under 40 hours, which is really, really weird. The hours I were getting, sure, you're getting paid. Why are you complaining about getting paid? I'm not complaining about that. I'm complaining that if I fall and break my ass bone, that they're not going to cover it, and I'm not going to have enough money to cover that, and it's an unsafe work environment if you work someone over 40 hours when they're a part-time worker. The thing is, the managers allowed this to happen because we had a department manager then, a relatively new one, and he was making 40-hour work week schedules, and they were just sliding the things under the table. Like, what the actual fuck? Corporate hasn't even been contacted with this, and they're still sliding this stuff under the table. Like, really? They're giving us extra money, sure, but they're not giving us any benefits at all. They should we should have, reported them to OSHA or something. I was the only one with a boss to go up to the manager to say, hey, are you going to give us any kind of health coverage? I mean, you're working us over 40 hours a week, which is really, just terrible, because not only are you sliding it under corporate standards, you're really sliding it under the state law as well. But fuck me, right? The schedule never changed. We were still working 40-hour work weeks, but this next part is really the kicker that really got me pissed off about the place. So I was told during the interview process that all of my schedule is remain confidential to myself, meaning that no one else knows my schedule and no one needs to know my schedule. It's mostly like cheating on a test is what they say. It's really, really bad, and technically it's against company policy if anyone knows your schedule. Yeah, right. As soon as I got hired on the spot, they printed out paper schedules, which is also not what we go by, or we shouldn't go by, but yet we had to. We usually go by the online schedules, but nope, paper schedule it is, and they wrote us in like that. The thing about the paper schedules is that the managers had their free will to change the schedules if need be, and they changed it every single week, let alone, hell, every 3 days we would find something new and adjust it with our schedules without even being told or called or texted or anything about, hey, we changed our schedule to this, do you approve of this? No, they don't even say that. Now if they change the schedule, it's like, hey, we changed our schedule to this, be at work tomorrow now. We're not going to say, screw your plans, you don't have a life. After about the month and a half to 2 months of my schedule changes every single fucking week, I just got so tired of it. I honestly just went in my truck and I let out all the frustrations. I beat the steering wheel. I literally bruised both of my hands just because it's bullshit how the way this Walmart is ran, and corporate doesn't know any single detail about what is happening there. So enough about the schedules, let's get on to the other great stuff. So electronics at my store is also liable for Site to Store, pick up today's Photo Lab. Evidently now stationary furniture, customer service, and all these other different places. You don't work in one department. You're cross-trained in literally 17 different departments because Walmart just sucks at just giving good employee service. Screw customer service. The employee service just sucks just as bad over there. We are literally getting trained right now in electronics department to cut fabric. Like, what the fuck? There's 5 employees in fabric. Sure, that doesn't seem like a big number, but there's at least 1 or 2 people there every single day of the week, and they still can't keep up with it, and we get blamed if we don't cut fabric. We get blamed if we don't grab that toy for that gentleman. We get blamed if a person can't get their prescription in pharmacy because we're too busy doing our jobs back in electronics. Not only do we get blasted for having to worry about other departments and not being able to perform their duties because they're lazy assholes, but we also have to get blasted because we don't bin in other people's stuff properly either. So it was around the middle of April when I had to pick to go get a wood furniture set, and this was about 9 o'clock at night. We only have an hour left until I close, and this was going to take a while, I can already tell, because there was none on the floor and the backroom count said there was 1. So I had to get somebody that knew how to use a walkie-talkie to go out and get it off of a pallet. As we get back there and look at the sheet, the thing is not binned in properly. Trust me, this was just a huge crap fest. And if something's not binned in properly, managers chew out the people who binned it. So the next day, the customer came in to get the wooden furniture set. And I think I came in a little bit later that day, but the customer came in earlier. And they figured out who closed that night, so when I came in, of course I got my ass chewed out. Mostly the questions they asked were, why was this not binned in properly? Well, hell, I don't know, I don't work in furniture. Well, you have to know why it isn't binned in properly, because you did the pick last night. I literally don't understand why me doing a pick would really even coexist with the fact that the fucking thing wasn't even binned in properly in its own bin. It had it on the sheet. It wasn't even marked out. It said, hey asshole, it's right here. And it wasn't. And I get chewed out for doing something that furniture should have done while they were here the day prior to me, getting chewed out for this. So that's it for that story. Not only do we get fussed out, like I said, for not doing other departments' jobs, but obviously not bidding in other departments' stuff either, because obviously we control all of the fucking things and items and shit that are in Walmart. Oh, and I'm not done. The next story comes from the way we properly use spider wrap in boxes in electronics. So the rule in electronics is, if it's $50 and above and not a big bulky item like a soundbar or a boom box or anything like that, you need to put a spider wrap on it or a box just to make sure it's safe and secure. See, that's a policy with all the other Walmarts. If it's not bulky or anything, put a spider wrap on it if it's $50 or above. Well, nowadays, it's if it is a high theft item, put a spider wrap on it or a box on it, please. Wait, what the fuck? Are we living in a perfect world or something? I mean, sure, I understand that, but these fucking items are $10 a piece, yet we're slapping spider wire on it and then the box and then wondering the next day, oh, I wonder why we don't have any spider wrap. Where's all the spider wrap going? Where's all the security boxes? Well, hey, asshole, you're spider wrapping a fucking $10 piece of shit that doesn't even deserve to be spider wrapped. Oh man, but it's a high theft item. We need this thing spider wrapped. Fucker, it is a fucking department store. Thefts happen all around the world. You can't stop it, even no matter how hard you try. And then you wonder why we don't have anything to wrap the big items like, phones or anything up with. So let me put it to you this way. You have a spider wire on a fucking phone charger that is $19.97, and you have a fucking iPhone 6, which is $399, sitting there without a spider wrap. What do you do? Well, obviously, when I asked this fucking question, it was to bin in the iPhone 6 and not sell that item. Like, what the fuck? So they would rather sell a $19.96 piece of shit, like, phone charger, rather than selling the $399 phone itself. That is just horrible. You're not making any money that way. Hell, I would honestly just say leave it unwrapped. If someone steals it, go ahead, steal it. There's no reason why we should stop you. I mean, it's because theft happens all the time. You guys, we don't live in a perfect world. And it's just stupid why this is. Why this is. We don't try to sell phones, but hell, we sell, phone chargers that need to be spider wrapped because they're $20. So the last few things I want to talk about. So the next thing I want to talk about is how employees take their fucking breaks 45 minutes apart, and then when I say, hey, and now when I try to be a snitch, hey, okay. So here's the thing, I'm diabetic. I need to eat something every couple of hours because my sugar drops. And when some dickface takes a 45-minute to an hour break, not a lunch, but a break, sure, I'm going to say something to the department manager. But when he doesn't do anything about it, he doesn't have a meeting or anything with that person or with the whole electronic department, it really pisses me off because it shows that he's not a team player. He's not on board with us. So, it just kind of sucks. The next thing I want to talk about is you get coached for doing customer service, which is just obviously the best thing you want to happen to you. So what I did was I laid the walkie-talkie down beside one of the employees, and I said, hey, I'm going to carry out this TV for this customer because we don't have a card associate to carry out, which we never obviously do. But, he said okay, and I left it right there for him, and I walked away as he acknowledged it, and he decided to, continue working on the TV wall. As I returned from doing this great customer service, I get coached because I left the walkie there that the guy acknowledged. He picked it up, he acknowledged it, he didn't answer it, and somehow I get coached out for it. What the fuck is the problem? I mean, come on, guys, this isn't really the way this is supposed to go. He was supposed to be the one getting coached, I wasn't. What the hell? So the last and final story I have for you guys today is that doctor's appointments in your life do not matter to Walmart. That is just the number one thing I need to say if you work there. So, it was Christmas time around last year. It was about 3 days until Christmas Eve. The schedules came out for the week prior. It said I worked the Christmas Eve at a 8 to 5, which is really great. That's what I wanted, was to work, the early morning to afternoon, maybe mid-afternoon shift, so I can get home, I can get dressed, and I can go meet my family for some Christmas time. But as we all know, Walmart loves to screw with you, and about a day before Christmas Eve, they changed my schedule to where I had to work an 11 to 8, and I just literally lost it. Not only did I miss the first Christmas Eve in over 15 years, but I also really upset my grandparents. They were heartbroken. My, cousins were heartbroken because, it's the only times they get to see me because they come down from out of town, but of course, we just can't really, change things at Walmart. The schedule isn't right. We misscheduled you and stuff, which shouldn't be my fault. They try to make it seem like it was my fault. How dare you work here? How dare you have a schedule? And they just misscheduled me, and yeah, that's the way that ended. So yeah, guys, that's going to be it for this video. It's just, I had this on my chest for about a good 2 or 3 months now, and today when he changed my schedule again, he had to rewrite the schedule, which is, kind of illegal anyways. I'm just going to sit here and just make this video about it, because I can't do nothing about it. Talking to people, it just goes, like the managers just goes over their heads. So, making this video to express my hatred to Walmart and all of what it stands for the employees. Rather fill their pockets up than, care about your life or your safety or your, what you're doing in your life. So, yeah, guys, I'm Mo Saints, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.